नमस्ते, गुड इवनिंग, जय झूलेलाल। कैसे हैं आप? आज फिर मंगलवार को आपके साथ रूबरू हो रहे हैं। व्हाट अ वंडरफुल डे टुडे इज। आज का दिन जो है ना, आज जो तारीख जो है आज की 22/2/2022, तो 2202/2022। काफ़ी लोग बोलते हैं ये बहुत लकी डे है, तो आई विश सबके पास लक आया होगा आज। और डेफिनेटली अगर नहीं आया तो अभी भी टाइम है। 24 क्या बोलते हैं 24 आवर्स होने से पहले डेफिनेटली लक आ जाएगा आपके लिए। आज हमारे साथ एक स्पिरिचुअल सोल जुड़ रही हैं, जिनका नाम है मिस्टर MK बालाजी जी, जो बैंकॉक में काफ़ी अरसे से रहते हैं। मैं उनको जानता हूँ और ही इज़ रियली जेंटलमैन विच इनके पूरे खानदान में, इनके पूरे घर में, इनकी वाइफ, उनके बच्चे, दे आर रियली डिवोटेड पूजा पाठ में। तो मैंने सोचा आज उनको कहा कि भाई आज हमारे प्रोग्राम में आए और अपना जो जो जो, जो उन्होंने एक टाइटल चुना है, आज का टॉपिक जो चुना है, वॉकिंग ए स्पिरिचुअल पथ, उसके बारे में आप शेयर कीजिए। और मुझे मालूम है वो काफ़ी बिजी रहते हैं, मोस्टली ट्रैवल करते रहते हैं, कभी USA में, कभी UK में, कभी मिडल ईस्ट में घूमते रहते हैं। फाइनली उनको पकड़ लिया है, आज हमारे साथ रूबरू हो रहे हैं। तो हम बुलाते हैं स्क्रीन पे मिस्टर बालाजी को। नमस्ते मिस्टर बालाजी।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते जी, बहुत अच्छा, आपसे मिलके बहुत खुशी हुई। फाइनली आप हमारे शो पे आए हैं और हमारे जो दर्शक हैं वो डेफिनेटली दे विल गेन समथिंग फ्रॉम यू।
जैसे आपने कहा, एवरीथिंग हैपेंस एट ए टाइम व्हिच इज डिफाइंड समवेयर बाय समवन, सो lucky for me that 22/02/2022 was the day defined for me to be on your show. So this is my lucky thing for today.
We are also lucky to have you here.
So I want to start by a invocation to all the gurus in my life who have contributed and who will continue to contribute in the future to whatever will be definition of a life that would be in my path. So I'm going to do 3 small verses. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
These are 3 shlokas invocating the blessings of gurus. The first shloka everybody can follow. It is Sadashiva Samarambham. Sadashiv or Shivji is considered to be the Adi Guru. From Sadashiv, from that time there have been a number of gurus, and Shankaracharya Madhyamam. That means the guru who is a marker in the middle of the lineage of Gurujis is Adi Shankaracharya. Asmat Acharya Paryantam. That means up to the Acharyas that I kind of have been inspired by. Vande Guru Paramparam. To this entire parampara of Gurujis, I bow to them. So that is the first shloka. The second shloka is defining the Guru themselves. Guru is Brahma's form. Guru is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. So Guru is not only the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva that we call as gods, but is Parabrahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We bow to such a Guru. After bowing to the Guru, the next thing is a prayer. That is the last chant is actually from the Yajurveda. It is a Shanti mantra, and this Yajurveda prayer basically is a prayer to the supreme powers. When the Shishya sits with the Guru, it says Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi. That means together with the Guru, let us kind of get the best knowledge. Let us get the energy and the nourishment to gain the knowledge. Let us both get enlightened together and not get disturbed by any distractions during this journey of learning. So with this invocation to the Gurus and to the Supreme Powers, and with the blessings of the Gurus, I'm happy to begin today's discussions with Papniji. Thank you very much for having me on your show today. I've been watching some episodes and been very interesting.
Welcome to this channel. We've been doing this. Today is I think 47th episode. So that's a beautiful that people are coming here. They are sharing their knowledge. ज्ञान जो है ज्ञान दान कर रहे हैं आप, तो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. काफ़ी व्यूअर्स कमेंट भी दे रहे हैं कि भाई यहाँ अच्छे अच्छे स्पीकर्स आ रहे हैं फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर इंडिया. एंड यू बीइंग लिविंग इन थाईलैंड, you are in a business, you are consulting in this one. How you what आपका रुझाव स्पिरिचुअलिटी की तरफ कैसे कब गया?
Interesting question. It's very hard to say कि ये कब शुरू हुआ. ये because हम मतलब मेरा जो बैकग्राउंड है, हमारी जो फैमिली है, ये बिल्कुल quite I would say religious family. My parents from the time I remember, सुबह 4 बजे मेरी मम्मी सो के उठ जाती थी, and I can hear the chanting of shlokas going on. एंड सबसे पहले काम उनका होता था कि जो पूजा का जगह है उसको साफ नहा धो के पूजा का जगह साफ सुथरा करके तैयार करें, सो दैट मेरे पिताजी आके वहाँ पूजा करें. और उनका काफी रिक्वायरमेंट्स होता था पूजा का, इलेबोरेट काफी चीजें लगते थे, सामग्री लगती थी पूजा के लिए. तो मम्मी का जो है, आई यूज्ड टू सी इन एडिशन टू आल्सो doing her morning cooking, getting us ready for school and all that, she was getting everything ready for the puja. And I would see my father doing the puja in the morning before he goes to work. So जैसे बच्चों का होता है कि वो पेरेंट्स को जनरली फॉलो करते हैं, तो मम्मी जो श्लोक बोलती थी वो सबकॉन्शियसली हमें आ जाता था, और पापा जो पूजा करते थे हमें भी लगता था कि हम वो करें. जैसे अभिषेक करते थे या कोई मूर्तियों को वो चंदन लगाते थे, कुमकुम लगाते थे, हमको भी लगता था हम करें. तो एक इच्छा होती थी कि उन्हें कॉपी कर लें और वो जो करते हैं वो हमें करें. सो वो एक सेल्फ ड्राइव होता था. और इसमें सबसे बड़ा एक जो एंडिंग पॉइंट होता था पूजा का हर जगह में, उसको हम कहते हैं नैवेद्यम, राइट. सो जो प्रसाद चढ़ाते हैं उसको नैवेद्यम बोलते हैं. नैवेद्यम मीन्स भगवान को निवेदन करना कि हम आज ये आपको याद करके हम ये खा रहे हैं. दैट इज हाउ इट इज, राइट. भगवान तो हम वहां चढ़ा करके वापस आके खा जाते हैं, तो निवेदन करते हैं. सो नैवेद्यम जो है वो एक फिनिशिंग पॉइंट होता था पूजा का, काइंड ऑफ मेरे को लगता था कि वो एक विक्ट्री लैप है पूजा का. खत्म हो जाता था नैवेद्यम के बाद में, फिर हमें प्रसाद खाने मिलता था. तो एक मैं बचपन से मेरा ये था कि कुछ भी घर में कोई भी खा ले, उसको पहले नैवेद्यम करना चाहिए. आप एक पानी भी पी ले, दूध भी पी ले, कुछ भी कर ले, सबसे पहले नैवेद्यम करना चाहिए. तो मेरे को ये लगता था कि वो एक मेरे लिए भी एक पर्सनल विक्ट्री है. सो बाहर भी हम लोग कहीं चले जाते थे टूर में या कहीं भी, तो मेरे को कोई खाने के पहले लगता था कि भगवान को नैवेद्यम करना है. तो वहां से एक इंटरेस्ट बढ़ा कि ये तो नैवेद्यम तो एंड पॉइंट था. तो बिफोर कमिंग टू द एंड पॉइंट आपको पूजा का सारा काम करना है. सो स्लोली मैंने अपने पापा को ऑब्जर्व किया कि वो कैसे करते हैं, क्या करते हैं। बाकी भी पूजा किसी के घर में जाता था तो हमारा लाइफ, मैं एक छोटे से टाउन में रहता था, तो रौरकेला नाम का टाउन है उड़ीसा में, छोटा सा टाउन है। सो यहाँ पे क्या है, उस जमाने में एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए अपने अपने दोस्त के साथ तो खेलते कूदते थे ही, उसके बाद पेरेंट्स के साथ अपने दोस्तों के घर जाते थे, तो इस तरह का पूजा वगैरह होता था, तो आई यूज्ड टू ऑब्जर्व इट, मेरे को अच्छा लगता था देखना। So I got pulled towards that, and at a very young age, I started doing all the puja. So पापा मेरे को कराते थे, खुद मंत्र पढ़ते थे, मेरे को विधि सिखाते थे। तो ये हुआ कब? ये आफ्टर मेरे जैसे 7th ईयर ऑफ माय एज, मेरा जो उपनयन हुआ था, जो थ्रेड सेरेमनी बोलते हैं, वो 7th ईयर ऑफ माय एज हुआ था। जनेऊ। एंड आई एम वेरी वेरी ब्लेस्ड कि जो मेरा जनेऊ हुआ ये बहुत सडनली हुआ। नॉर्मली हमारे फैमिलीज में ये काफी प्लानिंग होती है, मैं एक ही बेटा हूं तो काफी प्लानिंग होती है, लोगों का एक्सपेक्टेशन रहता है, बट मेरे पापा ने इसको बहुत सडनली प्लान किया, क्योंकि हम लोग रौरकेला से 3 घंटा दूर जमशेदपुर था। जमशेदपुर सिटी में कांचीपुरम के शंकराचार्य आ रहे थे और वो करा रहे थे वहां पे जिसको बोलते हैं समष्टि उपनयन, माने 101 बच्चों का उपनयन एक साथ करा रहे थे। तो मेरे पापा को बहुत इच्छा था कि मेरा भी उसी में करा लें, एंड दैट इज द इनिशिएशन इनटू, or that gives us the right to kind of do a few things, because after the Upanayan you are also slowly beginning to be initiated to learn the Vedas. So पापा जब घर में वैदिक चैंटिंग करते थे, इच्छा तो होती थी कि मैं भी कर लूं, लेकिन I didn't have the authority. So after the Upanayan, slowly that part of the input started coming, and father is the first guru. In many of our cultures we believe that, and in my case also he was my first guru. Taught me the basic puja vidhi, taught me a few things, a few basic Vedic chants. Then later on I went on to learn from other gurus also. So when I started doing this puja initially, I used to enjoy it a lot. I found a lot of connect. आपने कुछ पिक्चर्स दिखाए थे इसके पहले में। एक पिक्चर आप लोग दर्शक लोग नोटिस किए होंगे, गणेश जी का दिखाया था। ये गणेश पूजा का जो फोटो है, ये गणेश जी का जो फोटो है, ये मिट्टी का बना हुआ है। दिस इज प्योर सिंपल क्ले। इन थाईलैंड आई जस्ट गो एंड बाय दिस क्ले फ्रॉम द नर्सरी, एंड ये क्ले का जो गणेश जी है, हम हर साल बनाते हैं घर पे और पूजा करते हैं गणपति पे। तो इसमें एक अलग आनंद है। आपको यू गिव इट शेप टू दिस गणपति, यू आर कॉन्सेंट्रेटिंग ऑन एवरी सिंगल पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी, देन स्लोली यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस, व्हाई एक दंत, व्हाई नॉट टू, व्हाट हैपेंड टू द अदर वन, देन यू स्टार्ट लर्निंग टू द स्टोरी पार्ट, right? So slowly you start understanding the significance of every single part of the Ganesh Murti and the powers that are associated with that. So this draws you more and more to explore this part of the world, right?
ये गणपति जो है, ये आप खुद बनाते हैं घर में, right?
मैं खुद बना रहा हूँ, बचपन से मैं खुद बना रहा हूँ।
ओहो, वेरी गुड, नाइस।
एंड ये बिल्कुल, इसमें मैं कोई प्लास्टिक नहीं, कोई कुछ नहीं, ये सीधा जाके नदी में जब जाती है, दिस इज एनवायरमेंटली फ्रेंडली। आई वर्क इन दैट स्फीयर, सो आई कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू थिंक ऑफ डूइंग एनीथिंग बैड टू द एनवायरनमेंट। देयर इज नो पेंट, देयर इज नो प्लास्टिक, देयर इज नथिंग इन इट।
टोटल प्योरिटी,
प्योर क्ले, यस जी। सो इस तरह एक जो ट्रेडिशनल पूजा के तरफ मेरे को काफी इंटरेस्ट मेरा बढ़ गया। इसमें एक और आपको जो सिग्निफिकेंट है हमारी फैमिली की जो ट्रेडिशन है, वो आप इसके गणेश के साथ ही एक और फोटो दिखाए थे, वो है एक कृष्णा का बहुत छोटा सा फोटो, कृष्णा जी का फोटो है। आप देख सकते हैं इसमें जो बाल कृष्णा है, ये हमारे घर में जन्माष्टमी के दिन शाम में पूजा होता है, हर जन्माष्टमी में। और ये कृष्णा जो है, ये मेरे ये मतलब खानदानी है. This has been handed down generations. And this Krishna today in Janmashtami, my son is doing puja and I basically read the mantra. So until my son had Janeu, which was at his 7 years of age, I used to do the puja. After he had Janeu, now my son does the puja of this Krishna. So we are trying to pass that. I think he has my genes, so whatever attracted me will attract him, not immediately, but eventually, right?
तो संस्कार उनको आप पास ऑन कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, बट ये संस्कार से ही दिस इज अ वे लाइक दे से इन रिटेल, नो, दिस इज फुटफॉल होना चाहिए, अंदर खींच के लाओ कस्टमर को जी. सो कृष्णा का जो पूजा है वो थोड़ा इजी है, थोड़ा आनंद आता है उसमें, उसको करने में. दूसरा एक और ट्रेडिशन हमारे घरों में होता है, ये है ये जो नवरात्रि का ट्रेडिशन है, नवरात्रि के समय हम ये सजाते हैं. तो ये जो सजावट है ये भी बच्चों को करने बहुत मजा आता है. आप इसमें देखिए जो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड कॉर्नर नीचे में जो ग्रीन पैच है, ये ग्रीन पैच एक प्लेग्राउंड है. ये प्लेग्राउंड ऊपर के जो बीच के जो स्टेप्स हैं, इसमें भगवान वगैरह सजते हैं, भगवान की मूर्तियां सजती है, लेकिन जो नीचे जो भी है ये बच्चे बनाते हैं, बच्चों को अपने इंटरेस्ट जिस पे है वो बनाते हैं. तो मेरा बेटा जो है उसको स्पोर्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट है, तो जो ग्रीन पैच है वो स्पोर्ट्स एरिना है, वहाँ फुटबॉल के प्लेयर्स हैं, वहाँ एक्सरसाइज करने वाले डॉल्स हैं. तो सबको इन्वॉल्व करके लाना पड़ता है अंदर में एंड मेक थिंग्स इंटरेस्टिंग फॉर देम टू बी इन्वॉल्व्ड इन सच अ ओकेशन. सो वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इज उनका एक्टिविटी बढ़ाइए. दूसरा, हम लोग फूड इज अनदर थिंग. तो हमारे हर एक फेस्टिवल में we have made it very particular. My dharam patni, I would say, is 110% or 150% credit for all this. She ensures, कई बार बच्चे हमारे यहाँ पे तो स्कूल 6:30 बजे चले जाते हैं, उसके पहले हम पूजा खत्म करके वो जो उस ओकेशन का जो खाना पीना होता है वो भी बन जाता है. तो हम लोग कई बार 3 बजे उठ जाते हैं सुबह, 2:30 बजे 3 बजे उठ के हम सारे प्रसाद बना के चढ़ा के बच्चों को, when it's an occasion, they understand there is a puja component, there is a fun component, there is a prasad component, everything is in there. So they look forward to those festivals. They really look forward to celebrating. Now this is I would say this is the first gateway of attraction that I had, and I feel that my children also have that attraction. My daughter who's in US, she misses all this quite a lot. Every time जब पूजा होता है, पूजा खत्म होने के बाद में हम जब आरती चढ़ाते हैं तो वो जूम में या वीडियो कॉल में आती है देखने, एंड एवरी टाइम शी सेज आई मिस दिस.
बालाजी, आपकी डॉटर जो है अभी, कांग्रेचुलेशन, उन्होंने म्यूजिक में भी अभी अपना एल्बम रिलीज किया है जी. बहुत बहुत बधाई. बहुत अच्छा गाते हैं, और गाते तो आपके घर में सभी गाते हैं. आप भी गाते हैं, आपकी वाइफ भी गाती है, बेटी तो अभी वो मास्टर्स करके आ रही है सिंगिंग में. तो विश हर वेरी बेस्ट. जो भी करेगी अच्छा ही करेगी जी. हाँ, कंटिन्यू.
या सो ये बिगिनिंग था. तो जैसे हमारे गुरु जी, सारे गुरुओं का ये कहना है कि शुरुआत भक्ति मार्ग से होता है. सो दिस इज द भक्ति पार्ट ऑफ इट, द डिवोशन पार्ट ऑफ इट. यू स्टार्ट लविंग. What is devotion? There is a love, there is an attachment to doing that. You look forward to doing that. And slowly, as I said, once we start realizing the power of sitting, concentration, focus, then slowly we start getting to that inquisitiveness कि ये क्यों हो रहा है हम पे, ये मुझ में क्यों हो रहा है, why is this happening to me, right? And then you start exploring the why and how and what of this whole thing. So then you are seeking bigger answers. You are trying to search for bigger answers कि क्यों आनंद आ रहा है इसमें करने में. Not just because my father is saying, not just because I have to get some tasty prasad at the end, but there's something else, right? So that exploration is what started after my being attached to this puja and all this happened.
So सवाल पूछना है आपसे. आप इंडिया में कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में गए, वहां पर आप टोटली डिफरेंट रिलीजन की जो आप परवरिश क्या बोलते हैं पढ़ाई जो हुई, जो स्कूल में वैल्यूज़ जो सिखाते हैं क्रिश्चियन स्कूल में और घर में टोटली हमारा हिंदुज़्म में, उसमें कभी आपको कुछ फ़ील नहीं हुआ कि मैं ये अच्छा है या वो अच्छा है या इस तरफ जाना चाहिए या उस तरफ जाना चाहिए?
डेफिनेटली हुआ, क्योंकि डेफिनेटली हुआ है, एंड आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू हाइड ऑल दैट. जब ये कब हुआ, जब तक मैं साइंसेस में घुस नहीं गया था. लाइक बच्चे 7th स्टैंडर्ड 8th स्टैंडर्ड तक हमको डिटेल्ड साइंसेस नहीं पढ़ाया जाता है. टिपिकली इवन हियर यू कैन सी कि बेसिक साइंसेस पढ़ लेते हैं. वो 7th 8th 9th के बाद में क्या होता है, एक्सपेरिमेंट करो, ऑब्जर्वेशन लिखो, उसके बाद प्रूफ करो. तो एक थिंकिंग का जो मेथोडोलॉजी हमको सिखाया जाता है उस वेस्टर्न स्टाइल ऑफ एजुकेशन में, we start firmly believing in that system of seeking proof for everything. And that is the way I was scored. I mean, मेरे को स्कूल में मार्क्स उसी पे मिलता था. तो I started believing that is the way the world will judge me, and that is what is the skill required to live. Yeah. So एक वो टेंडेंसी हो गया था कि to believe that is the way success will be measured in the world all the time. So at a point, if you go and ask हमारे previous generation को we would ask questions with scientific explanations. It is not that they did not know it. It is something that they would not tell because they want you to seek the answers. That is how our Hindu tradition is. Our Hindu tradition is not always to give away the answers in a platter. So that was their tradition, and so I was always being pulled away by the education system that made me believe in a certain hypothesis, observation, proof kind of a stepwise method versus a exploratory method which is built into our system. तो ये होता था, and this actually at one point I told my parents, I don't want to do puja, I don't want to go do mandir. I believe in you. I mean, you are the ones, and I don't mind. आपको मैं 100 बार चक्कर लगा के 200 नमस्कार कर लूं, मैं मंदिर नहीं जाता हूं. So at a point I was thinking of that, but then slowly, you start missing that part of it. You start missing what you were doing as a kid. You start missing the feelings that you were having when the satisfaction and the feeling part of that. So when you miss them, you know that you have to get back to it, right? And that is the only way that this part of your personality will get irrigated. Otherwise, that part of the personality is going to run dry. So I did wander away for some years, but then I eventually went back to it. And I would again attribute a lot of credit for this to my wife as well. Coming from an extremely traditional family, she holds fort at home. Every single celebration of festival, she plans it very well in ahead. She's looking at it like 2 months in advance. And makes it a point that it's done, to perfection. So, and the children realize that, and the experience they carry that experience with them. So starting with bhakti, I think initiating into the bhakti part is the first part of getting into the spiritual thing, because at the bhakti stage we are listening to stories, and we are listening to stories of our heroes at the bhakti stage. Who are our heroes? Krishna is our hero. Rama is our hero. Hanuman is our hero. So today I like to wear the shirt that Rajnikant wears, or I like to have the mustache that Kamala Hassan has. I'm from South, so I'm giving those examples. Right? So as kids, I want to do what Krishna did. I want to do what Rama did. I mean, those are the hero worship that we were taught to do. So we had dadis and nanis who would give us those stories. Or later on, when the Dadi Nani thing was missing, we picked up a lot of this from Amar Chitra Katha. Even today, I would highly recommend. Aajkal to net mein milta hai. Amar Chitra Katha is an app on Android, and every single of these stories are available. So that was our first initiation into, morals and ideals of heroes. And so we were looking at them. From the Bhakti Marg, as the Upanayanam happened and, you start getting initiated into Vedic rituals. So after Upanayanam, the first Vedic ritual that the brahmachari is initiated is something called as the Sandhya Vandan. Many people do it. Sandhya Vandan is done 3 times a day, at sunrise, at sunset. Sandhya at the sandhi of morning and night and morning and stuff like that. And afternoon, madhyan mein, the sun is at the highest, and the last one is in the evening when the sun is setting. There's a question here, somebody just asked Hindu tradition based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Sandhya Vandan, which is done, it is a simple, it says modern society gives more emphasis on scientific stuff. Absolutely. This question, which has come from a Facebook user, is absolutely well timed with what I'm speaking now. Mm-hmm. So, Sandhya Vandan is a simple practice to make a brahmachari sit at a place for 20 minutes, 3 times a day. In which place? Under the sun. Why under the sun? 3 times 20 minutes a day, you get enough vitamin D. You don't need anything more. You don't need any 100 milligram, 100 IU vitamin D eating every day. First, that is the first purpose. The purpose of Sandhya Vandan is actually to realize yourself. It does not come when a 7-year-old does this. It comes with practice. There is a small part of meditation in Sandhya Vandan, but to get to meditation, you have to first still and calm your mind. So before you reach to the meditation stage, there are a few simple rituals. And those simple rituals you do because you do step by step. So you are disconnecting yourself from the outside world. When you're focusing on doing those few things, like pani ka argya dal diya, chote se tarpan kar diye. So you are chanting a mantra, you are doing some action. So you are disconnecting yourself from outside because you're now focusing on that action. So action, the importance of karma or action before you get into doing or calming your mind and focusing and trying to get spiritual is very important. So karma is the next step after bhakti that brought me, and I enjoy doing a lot of that karma. I mean, it is the physical part of that is also quite enjoyable, right? Because it's exercise. I mean, in a Sandhya Vandan, you sit down and you get up like 5 times, do Padmasana for 20 minutes, and you get up like 4 or 5 times and sit back again. What other exercise are we looking at? Your core muscles get strengthened, your thigh muscles get strengthened. We don't realize all this. This was never taught to us that way. But having done it and personally experienced, I feel it that I miss it if I cannot do it. Sometimes when I'm traveling, I cannot do. I really miss it. So the Sandhya Vandan is the first thing, and as a part of the Sandhya Vandan, there is also a small part which is for Loka Shanti, for everybody's Shanti. So it's not only about yourself, but you're also taught to think about the world. So this is where slowly you start getting away from just pure bhakti to getting into a little closer to the next step of spirituality. To come to that, you need to go through the karma part. The karma part basically helps you focus. It helps you also not think only about yourself. It makes you think about how am I connected with this world and the superpowers of the world, of this universe. So that is an evolutionary process. So but for the mind to come to that, it takes a few steps of that. The second part of the brahmachari's duty in the house is what is called as Samita Dhan. So Samita Dhan Samit is the small twigs of the peepal tree, of the banyan tree. And the brahmachari in the house does 2 times very small havan. That havan can be done on a single brick. It's not a very elaborate havan. The point is that the smoke that gets generated from that havan goes all over the house. It is done 2 times a day, early morning, and it is done in the evening at sunset. What happens with the smoke? It goes all over the house. No need mosquito repellent, nothing.
जी,
So
natural.
modern style, ancient style fundamentals have not changed. You still need mosquito repellent, but today we use
जी,
chemicals.
जी.
So these I started getting into that kind of rituals. Then there are monthly, there are annual, there are 6 monthly kind of rituals which are done, and slowly there are voluntary rituals that you can do. So I
Balaji, can
was
you come in
drawn.
the center? Can you come in the
Yeah,
center?
sorry. Yeah,
You
yeah,
going?
yeah.
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 अभी हाँ ठीक
So
है.
so I slowly started getting fascinated by that, looking at the scientific reason for doing all that. Like, my brain, because of that education and the way of thinking that I have, I'm an engineer, so I'm even more like looking at mathematics and science all the time. Um, so this whole thing started making me more and more interested in understanding much more complex karmas that are done. So, and these karmas are always done with a purpose, uh, to achieve something. A karma is done to achieve a smooth childbirth, for example, or for the child to get good education. So there are different purposes with which these karmas are done, and these are um, but to do that, every one of these karmas basically builds in an element of sacrifice. So you are also building that uh, trait of sacrificing yourself for, so that today, one of the biggest challenges is we are not sacrificing. We are all not willing to give up our position on anything. Global conflicts. Right now, we are facing a staring match in Ukraine. So we are not willing to give up. There's no sacrifice. There's no compromise. So it builds those kind of things in us, for the larger good of the universe. So these karmas are basically important not only to build character in ourselves, but also to calm our mind. So these are extremely important steps to, because unless I get my mind under control, I am not disconnected from my surroundings. So I cannot go and explore who am I. In previous speakers, they have all talked about this who am I discovery. And I
जी.
cannot discover who am I if my mind is roaming all around, thinking about the fan, the light, the rain outside, what is the next meal I'm going to have, what's my son going to do in school tomorrow, has he finished his homework? If I'm keeping on thinking of all this, when am I going to discover myself? I'm only living as a transaction with the outside world.
This
So
spirituality, does it help in work? Like you are whole
absolutely.
day you're working and this thing. Can you share on this one? That how
Yes.
spiritually work? I mean, on work पे कैसे हमारे काम में
So
कैसे काम होता है?
so yeah, so when like previous speakers have also tried to build spirituality, or define spirituality. I don't want to define, but basically, what is it? What it basically says that who am I and how am I interacting with the world in this given situation. So it is and I am interacting with this situation presented by the world around me, and how will I be judged at the end of this, or what is there's a cause and effect, right? So what will be the effect of this work or this decision that I'm taking? So this, in the work sphere, you are doing something, and you've been asked to do something by someone, right? Like your client or your boss or your company. Somebody is basically asking you to perform an action. Now you got to realize, what is this action going to lead you into? How is this going? It's not about the promotion. You may do something wrong and your boss, or you may get a promotion for achieving a target by hook or by crook, but that is going to, if it is done the right way, you'll get the benefit or a fruit in line with that action. If it is not done the right way, there will be a result as a part of that action. Now what spirituality basically does is, in a work situation, like you can go back and listen to the Mahabharata stories. There's no right or wrong. Everything is situational. So we take those situational decisions. Having taken a situational decision, the spirituality part of it basically helps me connect the me with the world and with that supreme being. How is this action going to be? What is the result of this action? If it is in balance with this whole system, then I'm at peace. If it is not in balance with this whole system, then also I am at peace because I am prepared for a thunderbolt sometime in the future. जैसे आप another example I can give you is not in work sphere, but when many of us go to the astrologer. The astrologer tells us of a few events, and many astrologers say, like, you cannot avoid going through a bad patch, but what you can do a few things to handle it better. You cannot avoid getting wet in a rain, but you can at least carry an umbrella. That's how it is. So spirituality in my work sphere has always helped me prepare myself for the consequences. I may face that consequence in this life, or I may face it in my next life or future lives. So that's how I am prepared. But so I am at peace, fully knowing that this action which I have taken is not in balance with the whole universe. It's not just a balance between me and this external world, but with the whole universe. And so there is going to be a repercussion of this action. In work, this happens many times. Like Krishna-Arjuna dialogue, this goes on all the time. So the inner Krishna in me says, look, guys, sometimes you are doing the right thing, sometimes you're not doing the right thing. So that's where my spirituality comes in, and I'm at the end of the day, I come and try to confess to the God, saying, God, or whatever power that can help me deal with that unrest and manage that situation. We all go through it. It's not, sometimes you have to do things in a situation.
Wonderfully explained. Yes, sir. Now we have two person. They joined us online. Let me bring them on a screen. Maybe they have some questions. First is from Chile. Lion Mohan is there. Namaste ji.
Namaste to everyone. Namaste.
Mohan is from Chile, and then I know this. You know this gentleman, Raju B. Manwani. He's from Bangkok. You know him very well. Yeah,
Namaste.
they have some. Maybe they have some questions, so they can ask you also. Let's go further. And spirituality के लिए जो हर एक का अलग अलग जो पहलू है, हर एक अपने हिसाब से बोलता है. आपके हिसाब से यंग जनरेशन को, यूथ को कैसे इसमें बुलाया जाए स्पिरिचुअलिटी में? पहले तो हमें खुद को प्रैक्टिस करनी है, लेकिन यूथ को कैसे बुलाएं?
Right. I mean, as I said, youth, I think there is the youth of today are probably much better prepared than what I was as a youth. Because in my time, I had not seen the damage created to the world around us. Because information was not available. Not that damage was not happening, but हमको information नहीं थी उस समय. We were not so well connected. The second thing is the youth today wants the world to be preserved much more than what our generation did. I work in my field of work. I work in sustainability. I work in clean energy. I work in, helping the world prevent global warming and climate change and stuff like that. So I work in that part of the world, and I see that the younger generation wants to be in that. They want to be crusaders in that. And if they want to be that, then as I mentioned earlier, they are seeking to look at a balance between themselves, the world around them. So right now, their frame of reference is me and my world around me. Right? So their actions are limited to use less plastic, don't use fossil fuel, grow more trees, right? But eventually, I mean, I'm sure they all realize that there's going to be there's another framework beyond that. So they are all basically, there are many people who have come out and have started realizing that there is a framework just beyond me and the immediate things that I see. There are things which I do not see, and they are contributing a lot to what's happening around. Right? So somebody was telling me, like, when we take an atom, right, all of us at the, I mean, Raju ji or myself or Mohan ji or Papni ji, we are all actually a congregation of atoms. But we look very solid. An atom is 99.9% void space, empty space. Then what makes Papni? Right. So what makes us what we are? What do we see? This is why that whole concept of, Maya and all is on. So they are going questioning these things beyond this. So there is a lot of interest in them in going to the fundamentals, and as they move more and more to the fundamentals of the existence, they will get drawn into this sphere. Just to give you I mean, again, going back to the whole world is talking science all the time. Two very large budget, very high budget, high profile exercises in fundamental science today. First one is In Search of the God Particle. So the God particle is something which we all call as Brahman in our world of things. They are the world still believes it's a particle. It is something which has got a size, shape, some properties, etc. But that thing, mathematically or otherwise, has never shown itself as something that has all those things, right? So there is a huge search, and in Switzerland there is a particle accelerator which people have constructed using billions of dollars of funding by EU and other powers, trying to search this, trying to see this, and it has never shown itself up. I mean, theoretically, yes, but nobody has seen it. The second part, and we understand this from the more you go into our Upanishads and all that, the more and more you will kind of realize what these people are searching for. So when these younger generation tries to get into the root cause analysis, as they are taught to do, they will be drawn into this sphere. Quantum physics is in that direction. The second thing which is being done, Mohanji, you are in Chile. The Atacama Desert has a super telescope. In Japan, there's another super telescope. These two telescopes are focused on two super stars very far away in some galaxy. And they have been measuring the distance between the two stars, which has been continuously increasing, which means the universe is expanding. So from the time of Big Bang, the universe has been expanding. So the expansion of the universe, we can understand how Earth and Sun are staying together in tandem by a gravitational force. But the universe is expanding. That means there is a force that is causing it to expand, right? That force is not seen. It's not measurable. And they have defined it as dark energy. Again, in theory, they see what it is, but in practice, they are trying to, again, because of that framework of thinking, there needs to be a measurement, there needs to be a definition. So they're trying to define all that. Again, something which is very well understood in our, scriptures. It's defined, and it's the powers of that, and everything is fairly well understood by us. The good part of it and the bad part of it is very well defined in our scripture. So as these people, as the younger generation gets drawn to questioning and going to the root causes, they will automatically get drawn to these schools of thought. So I see a larger chance of them coming into all this.
Fantastic. आपने इतना अच्छा explain किया. Raju, do you have any question? Hello, Raju. उसकी screen freeze हो गई है. चलो.
नहीं, he's on mute. Raju ji, you are on mute.
नहीं, उनका ओके अभी खुल गया, लेकिन बट स्क्रीन फ्रीज है. ठीक है, चलो ठीक है. चलो बालाजी, आप उसको बताएं. आप जो ये सब करते हैं, तो आपको मैंने देखा आप टोटल रिलैक्स मोड में होते हैं. कभी मैंने आपको स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन में देखा ही नहीं है। कितने साल हो गए हैं हमें आपको बैंकॉक मिलते हैं, सिचुएशन आती है, मे बी यू डोंट शो इन योर फेस, बट आप जिस नमूने लेते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिटी, इसका मेन कारण है।
जी बिल्कुल, जो that's what I said, you know, what has happened, I mean, the Western, the English word for that is fatalistic, right? What is happening to me, good or bad, is an effect of some cause which has happened at some point in time. If I know and understand the cause which has happened within this generation of mine or this life of mine, I attribute it to myself. Either I am proud of the success or I'm blaming myself for a failure. But if I'm not able to find that answer for that effect within this life of mine, then I know surely somewhere something has gone wrong before. So accepting that as a part of your own births and rebirths, because मेरे को तो मुक्ति मिली नहीं है अभी, so मोक्ष नहीं मिली है, मुक्ति क्या, मोक्ष नहीं मिली है, मोक्ष क्या, I'm even far away from the first part. So the birth and rebirth का तो I've not been absolved of that. So I think, so I'm able to accept it. I don't say, why is this happening to me? I mean, this is too bad. This should not happen to me. I'm such a great guy. I'm a good guy. I've never harmed anyone. Well, not to your memory, not in this birth, but maybe in the previous one or even 2 births before that. So you're carrying the cross from earlier, sins. So you have to accept it. The other thing is, first understanding where this is coming from, right? The second thing is, how do you deal with it? I mean, first of all, yes, if you realize where it is coming from, you will also realize how to correct it, how to not do that again. And first of all, seeking to, what has caused this from happening. So when you have an indigestion, you are immediately able to understand that this happened from some type of food. So similarly, a feeling, where that feeling comes from, or where that event has, how that event has precipitated. If we have to do that discovery, and that's where that self-discovery is very important. My Sandhya Vandan helps me every day to remain calm. I do it 3 times a day. Even if I'm traveling, I try to catch up with my 3 times a day Sandhya Vandan. Every day in the morning, I wake up and in addition to my small meditation in the Sandhya Vandan, I do at least an hour of Vedic chanting. This is a super duper meditation mechanism. Vedic chanting, if it is done the traditional way, you will be totally disconnected from the world. It's extremely high concentration exercise. Clears the mind, and if you are, do that. So that's another thing which helps me with bringing in a lot of focus and brings in a lot of energy. Vedic chanting involves a lot of pranayam, different types of pranayam. So when you chant them, you also are exercising yourself.
I'll call you on this one, only for Vedic chanting and this thing, to teach them.
No, I'm not a teacher. I'm a learner.
Okay. No, everybody's learner. Yes. Raju's back on a screen. Maybe he have some question again. Raju.
Yes. Greetings, Balaji.
Raju ka screen.
Nice to see you on screen again. Let me say, I've been absolutely.
Mohan ji.
You still can't hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The thing is absolutely enchanting listening to you,
Can
Balaji.
hear you,
I
yes.
mean, I meet you quite often. We have had many interactions, but even today, listening to you, absolutely enchanting. So I think it would be a crime on my part to take screen time away from you and from the stand between you and the other viewers. But I would like to add one thing. Here in Thailand, we are running 2 programs called Know Your Traditions and Know Your Saints. So Balaji is an active collaborator. As a matter of fact, he was my inspiration, and let me confess it right away. It was not my idea. Balaji was the inspiration behind the Know Your Saints series. We have done 2 series so far, one on Adi Shankaracharya and one on Tulsidas Goswami. And we are planning to do some more. And it is being Balaji, let me tell you, this program is being very well appreciated, what we are doing on this program. And you are I'll give you whole credit for this upon you. And
Sure.
I would love you to be continuously associated with our program. We bring all the saints of India to our virtual arena, as you may say. And we are not only we started with Adi Shankaracharya and Tulsida Goswami because they're obviously one of the biggest stars in the Indian pantheon. But we would also like to go regional and get saints from all the states so that people all over India know the saints from the other areas also. So I'll be looking forward to your contribution on that. And of course, know your traditions. We are doing all the all the small festivals and explaining to people how it is celebrated in different part of the world. As a matter of fact, Balaji, you hosted one segment on Golu, as Navratri is called, and you will not believe it. There were very few people outside of from the southern Indian belt who knew what Golu was. When I mentioned the word Golu to them, they had absolutely no idea. They knew Dandiya, they knew Garba, they knew Navratri, they know Durga Puja, Ram Leela, they know everything, but they were not aware of that. So
Abhi,
through this medium, we are, trying to create an awareness that it's all India is one. The root is the same. We just in our practices we are just a bit different, so let's understand and merge together. And
that's
thank you
just
for this
now.
wonderful show. Yes,
Just now,
Balaji.
Papni ji showed a picture of the Golu at our house.
Yes, I was watching it. And
Yes.
I've been invited to your house on Golu, so I've seen it firsthand.
Yes, that's the Golu. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you,
And
Bobby, for inviting me.
राजू जी, आपने तो जैसे हम महफिलों में कहते हैं, आपने मूड जमा दिया सेंट्स के नाम लेकर के. महफिल होता तो शायरी वायरी हो जाती है अभी, लेकिन ये सेंट्स का नाम लिया आपने. तो हमारे साउथ के एक सेंट हैं जिनको जो बहुत फेमस नहीं है, बट इनके नाम में साउथ में मूवीज आए हैं. इनका नाम है अन्नमाचार्य. इनको अन्नमैया भी बोलते हैं. जो तिरुपति गए हैं, दे वुड हैव सीन हिज स्टैचू इन तिरुपति. अन्नमैया जी is a 15th century saint who lived his life in the hills of Tirupati. For those who have visited Tirupati, you already know that it is 7 hills on top of which Lord Balaji is there. Though that's my name, so I should know. And Lord Balaji went there because he went there. He's supposed to be in an angry form there. So that is why if you visited Tirupati, you will see that you cannot see the Lord's eyes. वो जो ये लगाते हैं उसको नामम बोलते हैं उसको, पूरा it covers his eyes except on Thursdays. On Thursdays they don't cover fully the eyes, so they can see. The God can see you. So Tirupati Balaji is a temple where Lord Tirupati has Lord Balaji has taken a loan from Kuber to pay to Goddess Lakshmi to get married. So in order to pay back, till he pays back the loan, he has taken a vow that he will not get down from the hills. So that's the story. So he's still paying back the loans, and as we all know, it is one of the richest temples in the world. And that's a little bit of background about Tirupati. But it's a form of Lord Vishnu, and Annamaiya has composed a number of songs. And spirituality, or any discussion on spirituality, definitely brings us to music. One of the 3 Vedas, Samaveda, is the fundamental of music, carries a lot of fundamentals of music, and the whole tradition of classical Indian music has come out of the Samaveda. So I'm like, राजू जी ने बात छेड़ दी तो मैं रोक नहीं सकता हूँ, तो एक छोटा सा अन्नमैया का भजन गा लेता हूँ. इजाजत है पपनी जी? You're on mute, पपनी जी, you're on mute.
Let me answer for him. Please go ahead.
नहीं, मैं बोला अभी मैं पूछने वाला था, जाने से पहले हमें कुछ आपसे सुनना है, गा के. जी.
नारायण ते नमो नमो, नारायण ते नमो नमो, भव नारद सन्नुत नमो नमो, नारायण ते नमो नमो, मुरहर भवहर मुकुंद माधव, मुरहर भवहर मुकुंद माधव, गरुड़ गमन पंकज नाभ, परम पुरुष भवबंध विमोचन, परम पुरुष भवबंध विमोचन, नरमृग शरीर नमो नमो, नमो नरमृग शरीर नमो नमो, ओ नारायण ते नमो नमो. शांति.
Beautiful.
हरि ओम. So ये अन्नमैया का है भजन. It's a much longer one, but I just chose one stanza. Thank you, Raju ji, for inspiring me.
जी.
Always a
अभी
pleasure.
डॉक्टर लायन मोहन से पूछे, उन्होंने आपका प्रोग्राम देखा है.
Thank you, Papni ji. Really, I'm grateful to you. You
Mohan ji.
called me to attend this show. Really, it is very, very
Hello.
nice to hear. I yet need to understand and learn more. That's why I'm listening. I'm trying to learn.
That's an eternal journey, sir. All of us
Yes.
are listening and learning all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we are all learners. There is another tradition which we do. So when we do pranams to elders, when I'm doing pranam to any elder, I would say there is a abhivadan mantra. It's not a mantra in that sense, but it's basically says abhivadaye, which is I'm aapko abhinandan kar raha hu. Then we all come from a lineage of rishis, so we basically spell out the rishis. So normally people because there is some uncertainty, so you might have 2 or 3 rishis as part of that. So in my case it is Angirash, Brahaspati and Bharadwaj. ये 3 ऋषियों का potential lineage को मैं belong करता हूँ, but we generally say we are Bharadwaj Gotra, right? So we will say 2 or 3 rishis name, but we will say 1 rishi particularly because that's the highest probability. Then also in Veda there are different karmic practices which are promoted by another set of rishis. So Angirash is a rishi and then there's Bodhayana rishi. So they are all the people who brought out the karmic practices. So we follow the practices that are, at least I follow the practice of Angirash rishi. Then you basically talk about which Veda you are learning, because Veda is not something that one does not pursue to learn all the 4 Vedas in a lifetime. You can learn as you read a book, but if you really want to explore the whole philosophy and understand the whole thing, it's really vast. So I am so me and my family are learners of Yajurveda. So when we do this Abhivadaye, Abhinandan, we always say we are Yajush Shakha Adhyayi. So even my guru or his guru, everybody will still say Yajush Shakha Adhyayi. That means I am a learner of the Yajush Shakha. I will continue to learn. My father, even at his 82nd year, when he did Namaskar to a 85-year-old Uncle Ji, he said Yajush Shakha Adhyay. So we remain Adhyayi throughout our life. We are learners throughout our life. So that's how we, and with that, I would also do Charan Namaskar to all the elders who are listening on this program.
जी, आज से मैं सबको रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा, रिस्पेक्ट एल्डर्स, बच्चों को प्यार करें और अपनी सेहत का ख्याल रखें। पैंडेमिक में अपना डेफिनेटली ख्याल रखना है और जो भी है न्यू नॉर्मल के हिसाब से चलना है। मैं अभी मुझे एक वीडियो मिला है, जो बालाजी का है, जो भजन नहीं है, लेकिन उसको भजन भी ले सकते हैं। Before we end the show, I will put this one. And Balaji, thank you very much that you came on a show. Thank you, Raju.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohanji. With this one, this is a bonus song I'm going to put on our screen before we end the show.
Hi, friends. This is Balaji from Bangkok. I'm playing an unplugged version of one of my favorite songs from the movie 1942, A Love Story.
सूगी सूगी सांसें बहकी बहकी धड़कन महके महके शाम के साए पिघले पिघले तन मन और इस पल में कोई नहीं है, बस एक मैं हूँ, बस एक तुम हो। कुछ ना करो, कुछ भी ना करो, कुछ ना करो, कुछ भी ना करो। क्या कहना है, क्या सुनना है, मुझको पता है, तुमको पता है। समय का ये पल थम सा गया है और इस पल में कोई नहीं है, बस एक मैं, बस एक तुम हो। कितने गहरे हल्के शाम के रंग है झलके, पर्वत से यूं उतरे बादल जैसे आंचल ढलके। कितने गहरे हल्के शाम के रंग है झलके, पर्वत से यूं उतरे बादल जैसे ढलके और इस पल में कोई नहीं है, बस एक मैं, बस एक तुम हो। कुछ ना कहो, कुछ भी ना